Hello everyone and welcome to Mitchell Stadium, home of the Bluefield College Rams, as they take on the Allen University Yellow Jackets in today's game. Joshua Sawyers and DJ Beal on the call for you today, and DJ, Shallow Ward getting his second start in a row, the freshman starting over redshirt senior Kason Witt. He looked good last week, he threw a touchdown, but what's your take on that today?
A true freshman starting at quarterback for the Bluefield Rams today, and this is his second start of the season, coming off not only a game against a D1 school, his first start. You talk about, that's big for a freshman. That's big for any quarterback coming in and starting against a D1 school like that, a D1 defense. And also, with him coming in being a true freshman, that's huge for his psyche, not only this year but years to come as well.
That bye week does come in handy, and he's in good hands anyway with these receivers, with Antonio Strickland and Charles Black. Jeff Hughes will not be in the game today, which will hurt the Rams. It's going to be important for youngsters Jaquan Ebron and Quincy Mock to step up today for the Rams offense. Now going over to this Allen University offense, they use two quarterbacks. They use Tyner and they use Duncan. If you need any visualization of how this is going to work, picture Alabama's offense with Jalen Hurts and Tua in the backfield. Switching off, both of these quarterbacks have played all 4 games.
Now, we're going to get into this Bluefield defense, this impressive Bluefield defense, I might add, here in a little bit. But that Allen University offense using 2 quarterbacks, there's so many adjustments you have to make as a defense when it comes down to it, especially if you're running against 2 quarterbacks. One's got a different skill set than the other. Although they are very similar, still they both have different strengths.
And the Yellow Jacket offense has a barrage of ball carriers with 12 different people carrying the ball in at least 3 games this season, so you really don't know who's going to be running the ball whenever it's hiked. Now, the Bluefield defense, we talked a little bit about the Allen University defense, I think, but the Bluefield defense, they really showed up in the run defense last week. They have 1 returner on the defensive line with Terrence Hall, the big boy, benching 600 pounds. But it's going to be important today for this young defense to step up against this Allen team that runs the ball the majority of the time.
Yeah, that runs the ball, like you said, 12 ball carriers. That's 2 quarterbacks. That's running backs. That's wide receivers. You never know who's going to hit you for that Allen University offense. And, like you said, little use of their wide receivers. So we expect a heavy run game from Allen University. For the Bluefield defense, they just got to stay disciplined. A lot of times with different run games, you got misdirection. You got all kinds of runs they can throw at you. ISO right up the middle option. It doesn't matter. So they got to make sure, if you're the Bluefield defense, stay disciplined.
Game time coming up in less than a minute. You'll find it here on the Rams Digital Sports Network.
It's punted away. That's Henry on the return. He's going to reverse field. He's running to our side here. Gets a pretty nice block from Bluefield, and here he comes down the left side. He's got another block, and there he goes. And there's no flags down. That's another touchdown for the Bluefield Rams.
Tyrese Henry making some plays on that punt return, streaking down the sideline, showing off that exceptional speed.
Not only exceptional speed, but plenty of good blocks from Bluefield as well. As soon as he cut to the other side of the field, my goodness, it was all open from there.
And it looked like an Allen University defender on that play blocked his own teammate going down the sideline. You don't see that much. It's like that old Florida play. It went around on the internet showing a Florida guy blocking a Florida guy.
Extra point almost blocked, but it was not. And the extra point is good. That's going to make it 14-0 Rams. We'll be right back.
Halftime score here of 31 Rams, 0 for the Yellow Jackets. It's been a pretty good game for Bluefield College, but it's going to be important for them to keep this pressure on the Yellow Jackets. What are your keys to the game, DJ?
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a lax defense there in that last drive. That last drive we saw from the Yellow Jackets was a good drive. It was a good drive. It was impressive. But then again, this defense is backing off. They don't want to give up. They want to bend but don't break. That's exactly what they did. So, so for the Rams to keep it up, they just got to stay consistent.
And one thing that I noticed that the Rams have been doing really well is run defense. Gary Tyner for Allen University has 63 yards on the ground. but one rush out of that ended up for 46 yards. Other than that, their second leading rusher was Tranquil Holloway with 11 yards in the first half. So the run defense has been on point, as well as the secondary. Allen University doesn't pass the ball that often, but the secondary of Bluefield's been very effective here early.
They have, and I think it helps when you have a good special teams as well. We've seen some huge special teams plays, block punts, punt returns, and stuff like that that's really set the bar for the Rams. Not only has it given them good field position, but it's also put that Yellow Jackets defense in terrible field position on defense.
And we've mentioned the running struggle for Allen University, but also Bluefield has struggled running the ball as well. It looks like Malik Brown is Bluefield's leading rusher with 35 yards, and Shiloh Ward with that big 17-yard run. He has 29 yards on 2 carries in this game. I think it'll be important for Bluefield in the second half to up that running game and be able to run the clock out in this game.
And I think that, the young freshman Shiloh Ward just has to continue to play within himself. I think that's the biggest thing, and he's done a pretty good job. We've seen some error throws here and there, but, with a young guy, that's kind of what you expect, the growing pains, like you said, early in the game. But I think at the same time, he's made some good decisions. We saw him on that last touchdown they scored where he was rolling to the left, and he had a chance to hit some receivers, but instead of hitting covered receivers, he says, I'm going to take it myself, and I'm going to make sure we get this 7 points on the board.
2 minutes to kick off. We'll be right back with you on the Rams Digital Sports Network.
Another shotgun snap for the Rams. Ward looking to pass. He's looking downfield. He's got a man, and he goes up and grabs it and fights his way to the end zone. Number 19, Antonio Strickland, once again on the reception. That Ward to Strickland connection, something we talked about earlier in the game, and there you go.
And there's the explosiveness from Antonio Strickland, blowing by the defender. And a good job by Shiloh Ward there with a shoulder in his face mask, putting the ball on a line right into Strickland's hands. Good play all around by this offense.
Hey everybody, welcome into a brand new football game preview here on the Rams Digital Sports Network as we preview the Rams' next game against the Kaiser Seahawks at Mitchell Stadium at 6 p.m. on Saturday. And Josh, let's talk about the Kaiser Seahawks at first. They're a team composed of mostly freshmen, but they did get their first ever program win and the first ever program game against the Pikeville Bears last week, rallying from down 19-3 in the fourth quarter.
Well, they are a young team. Looked very strong last week against UPike, but freshman quarterback, all freshman offensive line, but as Coach Lusk said, they are Florida fast. And that's evident by their running back, Marquez Burgess, added 2 touchdowns on the ground last week and was named Mid-South Sun Conference Player of the Week in his first game.
Well, we also have to mention the freshman quarterback for Kaiser, Eli Matthews. Pikeville put the pressure on him in that first game. He was sacked 4 times and ended up throwing 2 picks. That'll be key for Bluefield to do as well.
Yes, it's going to be key to put some pressure on this quarterback and try to force him to make some mistakes. The Rams did that very well last week against Cumberland University, adding some pressure in the second half, blitzing with the linebackers and getting to the quarterback. That'll be key. Try to force some turnovers this week.
Mention a couple of other factors in this game, but really for Bluefield, the offensive pressure for the Rams has to step up. In the game against Cumberland, although the Rams did score 23 unanswered points, they got started a bit late, and against Kaiser, a team that hangs around, it's going to be tough for them to do that, so they have to get started early.
Well, like you said, Kaiser hangs around. That's what they did against UPike. They started off slow, but UPike let them stay in the game, and they took off in the third quarter and just ended up winning the game on that offense. So it's going to be important for the Rams to put some points on the board with Jeff Hughes, Charles Black. Hughes had that 60-yard touchdown last week. It's going to be important to have some of that offensive magic this week.
Should be a fun game and should be a close game. So you're going to want to come see it tomorrow at the Coal Bucket, otherwise known as Mitchell Stadium. Bailey Engel, he's Joshua Sawyers. We hope to see you tomorrow as the Rams take on the Kaiser Seahawks.
Kaysen will have some help on the ground today with the returning running back tandem of Malik Brown and Alex Martin. Martin is Bluefield's big-bodied running back. He'll get a lot of carries in the red zone today. And Malik Brown, the shifty scat back from Charlotte, North Carolina, will be looking to do some damage down the field.
Also have to look at the questions for Bluefield. The Rams today operating with an all-freshman offensive line. And if you even look at the front on the defensive side as well, only one returner coming back for Bluefield, and that's Terrence Hall, as well as the wide receivers for the Rams. Get this, 4 of the 6 wide receivers on the depth chart for Bluefield have not caught a pass at the collegiate level.
We'll have 2 returners in the wide receiving corps today, starting with Jeff Hughes and Charles Black. Hughes is coming off a standout game in the scrimmage against Emory and Henry a season ago, and Charles Black really emerged as one of Cason Witt's favorite targets down the stretch. It's going to be up to Cason Witt to build some chemistry with this young wide receiving corps early on.
Now, on the flip side for Cumberland, they also have a brand new look, a team in the Mid-South Conference. They have a first-year head coach in Jim Mathis. After last year, the Phoenix actually went 7-4. Expect them to run a lot of the triple option today.
They do have a lot of changes in the coaching staff, but they have some very familiar faces returning to this offense, starting with veteran quarterback Desmond Huntley, who led the Phoenix in passing and rushing yardage last season. He'll be joined by his running back Kimley North, who caught fire at the end of 2017, adding 8 touchdowns and over 500 yards in the last 5 games for the Phoenix.
Speaking of 5 games, this is the 5th time these teams have faced off against each other since the Rams' resurrection of the program back in 2012. Cumberland's fared well, Josh. They're 4-0 against Bluefield, but last year was almost a different story.
The Rams were close to securing a victory. They were up at halftime, but a third-quarter surge by the Phoenix offense led to a BC loss 24-17 and a heartbreaker on the road.